All right. First of all, I would like to, at 75, and I said I haven't been back and seen some of these people in 50 years. And I often wondered, even some of my players, and one of the things I said, I may not recognize them, but I would be able to recognize them. I wouldn't recognize them physically, but I would recognize them by their voice. And I happened to meet one of the young ladies who played on my first girls basketball team at Lee. It was Crayola. Where are you, Crayola? Stand up. Somewhere in the back. Yes. And she recently told me that she became a teacher herself, so that was great to hear. One of the things about my life itself is that athletics, sports, has always been a medium for my expression. I was the youngest of 6 children. I had 3 older brothers who were all sports-minded. And believe it or not, I even helped one of them as a catcher while he was practicing pitching for his high school team. I got beamed in the head one time from one of his curveballs. And he said, "There's no crying in baseball." And that was my brother, Nate Qualls, who sits over there, who played for North Haven High School. But like I said, sports was a medium of my expression, and you don't get up here for an award like this unless you've had not only family members to assist you along the way. I had a great coach at Southern Connecticut. Her name was Louise O'Neill, and many of you probably know her, not only coaching the women's basketball team at Southern Connecticut during my years. She went on to coach at Yale, became athletic director at Yale, went on to Dartmouth as athletic director, and Wesley as well. And recently, in 2017, she was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. So she was my mentor, encouraged me to go on to become a coach at Lee High School and eventually at the University of Wisconsin, where she received her master's degree. And in life, you never know when you meet someone how they're going to affect your life. And my life was intertwined with different connections. I grew up in North Haven, Connecticut. I graduated from Cross High School. They had no girls' athletic program at the time. So I learned most of my athletics from my brother's community that I grew up in. Also to going on to college. I played in various sports. And once I graduated from Southern Connecticut, I had to decide upon where I wanted to teach. And fortunately, Lee High School had an opening for a physical education teacher. And at that time, Mary Benevento, who happened to be my PE gym teacher at Cross, was also the department head and athletic director at Lee. Amazing. And I also had the opportunity to meet Mr. Schreck, Luby Harper, who were very athletic-minded, which was a plus for me and for Lee High School. And I was offered the job, and then when I heard that Lee High School the year before had over 200 false fire alarms, and I said, did I really make the right decision? But in those 7 years that I was there, from 69 to 76, I can say that I made the right decision. The thing about Schreck and Harper, they encourage athletics to be a unifier. And also the thing that I liked about Lee High School teaching there was that it brought in students from diverse communities. I tell people we had African Americans from the Hill. Going further out Edgewood, you had a Jewish group of people. East Haven had the Italians. And so when you look at the structure, and even you had Spanish, Puerto Ricans, and a certain area of the committee of New Haven. But the great thing about it is that despite the differences in the background, they all were able to be unified around sports and athletics. So most people probably remember from women's basketball, but I also coach track, and like Peter Evans said, for us to have a girls' athletic program in New Haven, we had to file a lawsuit with the Board of Education. Although we had some small pockets of money that Mary Benevento founded, probably the first 2 or 3 years, we played a few schools. Model cities came in 73, gave us support for the girls' athletic team. And that following year, we anticipated that the Board of Education were going to continue and support a girls' program throughout New Haven. Unfortunately, they decided no. So we, in turn, myself, Debbie Chen, others from the other schools, filed a lawsuit against the Board of Education of New Haven. And rather than fight, they just folded and committed money for all 3 high schools. So that was really great. Okay. All right. Also, too, just wanted to recognize some of the players on the track team. I just wanted to recognize Daisy Montanez. Don't know if she's in the house tonight, but she did win a state title in the 100, 200-yard dash. She went on to qualify for the U.S. track and field athletic championships. Basketball, of course, you know that was one of my favorite sports. Had some great teams, but you don't become a great coach not unless you have great players to work with. And if you had the Hill sisters, Celeste and Debbie, you were going to be a winner. Also, too, if you had the Hall sisters, you were going to be a winner. With Annette Hall, Renee Hall is in the house tonight. Her sister, Arlene Hall, ran track for us. Also did a long jump. And I believe she is still living in Dubai, believe it or not. They said I got to wrap it up. And I'd just like to say very quickly, happy to be here. Thank the committee for their hard work putting on this display. And I'll be back next year as a visitor to support all of